Hey, this is Wenker Reviews, and I'll be doing a video on the movie Searching, starring John Cho. Now, what made me really want to watch this was simply because it looked a lot like the movie Unfriended, and I actually really loved the movie Unfriended, and how the whole movie looked like it could take place on a person's laptop, and how we could see everything in real time as if someone was on a computer. And looking at this for the first time, I was actually kind of disappointed simply because there was a lot of like editing and zoom-ins, and it just didn't look like how I expected it to look. The movie wasn't in real time. It didn't look like it didn't have the same setup as Unfriended. So at first I was really disappointed, but as the movie went on, I realized that that kind of setup wouldn't have worked for this movie simply because it not only takes place within several days, but it would have dragged on, and it actually would have been really boring and would have dragged out a lot if it wasn't as fast paced as it was. And I gotta say that the movie has a lot of twists and turns. The ending isn't what you would expect. I like the fact that I was not able to guess what was going on. And just when you thought you knew what was going to happen, something else would happen. And that's what I really liked about this movie. It wasn't predictable. But as much as I did like the the editing, and I did like how mysterious it was, and how it wasn't predictable. There was a few things that I had a problem with. Some of the dialogue was very unrealistic. Debra Messing was, I think, the worst part of this movie, and I actually really like Debra Messing. I've seen her in a few romantic comedies. I've seen her on Will and Grace, and she's a great comedic actress. She's great in the rom-com genre, but when it comes to serious roles, she's almost like a parody. And she plays a detective in this movie, and her acting is just so awful. And it it was like a parody of a detective instead of a real detective. And I'm not too familiar with law enforcement, but I don't, I thought it was very weird that every time John Cho had to speak to the detective, he wouldn't like call her in a normal way. They would always Skype each other. And again, I'm not too familiar with law enforcement, but it seemed like they had them speak on Skype simply because this was supposed to be a found footage social media movie, and I just thought it was very weird that he was kept speaking with the police through Skype. I've never heard of something like that. Another thing that was really weird was the fact that while searching for his daughter, he suspects that this one guy that his daughter was talking to online had something to do with her disappearance, and he like breaks this guy's jaw in front of everyone at a movie theater, and the father doesn't even get arrested. John Cho's character doesn't even get arrested after breaking this guy's jaw. Instead, he's like crying on Skype with the police, with Debra Messing's character, who's a detective. And I thought like that was like so unrealistic, and it I don't know, like it was like times like this where it felt like a parody, where it took me out of the movie and I couldn't take it seriously. And I was like just thinking to myself, come on, really? Really? Like what, how is he not in a holding cell right now waiting for bail money at least? And going back to Debra Messing, every time she showed up on screen, she would literally suck the life out of the movie. She would literally take away all the tension away, because it felt like she was in a slapstick comedy, and she was playing a serious detective while making fun of serious detectives, and that's what really bothered me. Like, she would literally take away all the tension away, and I thought she was horribly miscast in this movie. And that just goes to show that John Cho is very versatile, because he was in American Pie. He's also been in Harold and Kumar, and he was still able to pull off a grieving father, a father that was searching for his daughter. Like, he was able to switch off the comedy and get serious and have you sympathize with him. But Deborah Messing isn't as versatile. She's like, dramas and thrillers and horror movies just aren't her thing. Just She really should just stick to comedy. And I'm sorry to say, but she's the reason why I can only give this movie a 6 out of 10, because if honestly if they had cast someone else, this could have been a lot better in my opinion. And I really hate to say that, because I do like her in other movies and TV shows, but she really did just suck the life out of this movie. And at one point, it even looked like while she was doing Skype chats with John Cho, it looked like she had just smoked a blunt and rolled out of bed. Like, it was really unprofessional. And I don't know how realistic this is to real life. Again, I don't know anything about law enforcement, but that was just so weird, and so it just took me out of the movie. And I think that it has to partly do with the writing, and it also has to do with her just being a really bad actress when it comes to dramatic roles. And the combination of the two just ruined it for me personally. But overall, I do have to give this a 5 out of 10. As much as I did like the twists and turns and the big reveal at the end, the movie overall did kind of fall flat. That's not to say I hated it, but I just wished it was better, because I really was looking forward to watching this. So yeah, that's my final rating, 5 out of 10. Thanks for watching.